When you're watching a TV show or a film and you see somebody drinking a latte with a Starbucks logo or drinking a can of Diet Coke, it's more than likely that beverage was placed in that TV show or film through the practice of product placement. Increasingly, advertisers are working with media producers to have their products actually placed in the content of a TV show or a film. And this is actually a really growing practice, and advertisers are spending increasing amounts of revenue to have their products placed in a variety of different media, television shows, films, video games, comic books, and so on. And your book gives this great example about how one Transformers movie had 69 product placements. Another franchise that really specializes in product placements is the series of James Bond movies. I mean, you will usually see the character of James Bond dressing in snazzy clothes, featured by a particular designer, driving particular cars that car companies have paid to have featured in the films. James Bond will be drinking certain kinds of alcoholic beverages that, again, companies have paid to have featured in the films. Now, this practice of product placement is good for both the advertiser and the media producer. Advertisers love product placement because it is an effective way for them to grapple with a real emerging problem, which is that new digital media and DVRs often allow consumers and individuals to skip ads. For instance, myself, I've got a TiVo, and anytime I watch a show, I record the show, and then I will just skip over the ads. Right? Advertisers hate that, all right, because they're paying big bucks to place these ads to be viewed when somebody watches a TV show, and then people aren't watching them. So advertisers instead have gravitated towards having their products featured in the content of the actual shows, so that it becomes almost impossible to skip the ad because it's incorporated into the actual texture of the show itself, right? Now, on the other hand, media producers like this practice of product placement because of the money. Advertisers are increasingly devoting larger sums of money to film studios, TV production studios, production houses that really help these producers defray the costs of production. All right, so that if a company is paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their product featured in an episode of a TV show or a film, that means that's that much less that the producer is going to have to pay for the expense of that production. So real benefits here for both the advertiser and the producer. Now, on the other hand, some critics argue that there are some social issues of concern here for the consumer. First off, some critics argue that this whole practice of product placement is deceptive, all right, because the consumer may not, or the audience member may not be aware that particular products or services are have been commercially sponsored in this TV show or film, all right, so that the audience oftentimes is unaware that he or she is being subject to this kind of advertising. So again, is it deceptive? Some also argue that when one goes to a movie theater or a multiplex, that advertising in films is kind of annoying. That you as a consumer have paid like what, $10, $12 for a ticket to see a movie, and then suddenly you're bombarded with all these product mentions in this film that you went to see. So again, there's also kind of like the annoyance factor here. Now, some critics also argue that this practice of product placement raises questions about creative and artistic freedom. All right, what does it mean if you are a film director or a writer for a cool new show, and then suddenly your parent company is saying, hey, you need to stick in 3 mentions of Starbucks in your show, or somehow you need to work in this mention of Huggies baby wipes, all right? So does this increasing practice of product placement force creative film and TV directors to have to revamp plots and characters to suit the needs of these advertisers? Now, this practice has been investigated by a few different U.S. government agencies, the Federal Trade Commission and the Federal Communications Commission. The FCC has proposed some rules about product placement, but nothing really has been put in place. It's really interesting looking at the difference in terms of how the U.S. handles this situation versus some European countries. In the U.S., more or less, this is a very unregulated practice, and advertisers and media producers are free to do what they will with little oversight or restriction. Whereas in some European countries, there are requirements to disclose to audiences when this practice is taking place, so that people have to be made aware of when a product is being featured in a TV show or a film for commercial consideration. And I guess that raises some questions for us, which is, should there be more oversight of this practice, or should media companies and advertisers be free to do what they wish without any kind of restrictions or oversight?